The presenting sponsor for OnEducation is Classcraft. We're excited to announce Classcraft's new story mode, which makes it easy for educators to harness the power of stories. Episodes 1 and 2 of Season 1 are ready for you and your students to play today, and it's completely free. To learn more about Classcraft and the new story mode, simply visit classcraft.com/oneducation.
And it's cool to hear you speak on it because there is more to come.
Ooh, dot, dot, dot.
Welcome to another episode of OnEducation Presents. OnEducation is a member of the Educational Podcast Network, and we're so happy you've joined us. Flipgrid was already taking classrooms by storm back in June of last year when just a week before ISTE they announced that they were bought by Microsoft.
Since that time, it's been nothing but up for the company. We're here with Kozma and Adam Parker Goldberg from Flipgrid to talk about the secret to their success, what drives them, and exactly how many Flipgrid videos they've done in their lifetime. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, everybody. We're so excited to be here.
Thank you so much. I'm already a little bit nervous to try to add up those numbers in my head.
I know.
But we're thrilled to be here. Thank you so much for having us, and thank you so much for the kind words. We're super excited to chat.
So you guys are rock stars, like legit rock stars all over the internet. Every time you guys are somewhere, it's like crazy. What's it like, seriously, being like the faces of one of the biggest, most popular ed tech companies out there? What's that like?
Our community is our heartbeat, and the educators, not only in the Flipgrid Fever community, but educators everywhere bring the heart and hustle to classrooms all the time. So it is a giant love fest. It is a celebration. It is just, it's like family. It's a connected family of people who are passionate about amplifying student voice, and it just fills my heart every single day.
Yeah, to echo that, it's just like such a huge honor and privilege to work with so many incredible educators. We talk about all the time, we're so lucky that when we go on these work trips to conferences or Flipgrid bus tours or school visits, just, sporadically, it really doesn't feel like work because we, like Ann said, we're meeting with like our extended Flipgrid family, our friends who we're excited to see and genuinely like thrilled to be with. And celebrate and show. We always say celebrate, share, and showcase like the incredible work they're doing with their amazing communities. Scholars, fellow educators, family members. So it's amazing. We love it.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
So we get to see video and images on social media of all of your travels. When the Flipgrid people show up at a school, it's a major event. So what does getting out to classrooms do for you that's different, and how is it framing your work at Flipgrid?
So one of the incredible things is the educators using Flipgrid, the students using Flipgrid, folks using the platform every day to share learning, to provide pathways, to deepen understanding, to synthesize, this is my workflow, this is my outcome, to celebrate that learning journey. It drives what we do with the product. So we talk all the time about the feedback we get from students in the classroom, from tweets educators are putting out on social media, from the feedback we receive via email. All of that drives what our development team can shift, can remix, can completely build from the ground up in terms of features, but it is all inspired by the community.
And it's totally, like, to echo what Ann said, like, just celebrating the community because we have this, like, amazing privilege with, like, the internet and the World Wide Web and all the amazing things. That's where Flipgrid lives, right? But also just the ability to communicate with especially educators every day is amazing. But we don't always get to have that firsthand contact with students to hear what they're thinking and what they're doing. And so for us to be able to go into schools, it kind of works twofold in that we both want to share the story of Flipgrid because it's not even really about like what Flipgrid's about, but this idea that two people had this cool idea, developed this platform, and now it's used by millions of people around the world. And, we love them. They're special and unique, but that story is not unique. And students everywhere, we want them to know whatever their dream is, whatever they want to pursue, they can do the same exact thing. And then likewise, like Ann said, to get that feedback from students. And also, it's like a little bit of Monsters, Inc., but the end. So it's not the scaring, it's the laughter that like, it like every once in a while, it's good to just get in the school environment so we can kind of soak in that like student energy and then bring it back to our office and let it explode and, you know, energize all our developers and the rest of our team. And
that's something too, because we do get to experience, you know, a school campus or a school community or go into classrooms, work with educators. We get to bring that back and share with the team here in Minneapolis and share the vibe, thrive off of the energy. And, you know, after 17 years in my school district and 10 years in the classroom and beyond, that energy of a classroom and the ebb and flow of what it looks like and what learning looks like, it is busy. It's constantly in flux. And it's this positive, excited energy that we thrive off of. So I love going into a classroom. I love working with teachers, but it's incredibly special as members of the engagement team to bring that back and share with our larger team here as well.
That's awesome. So, I mean, these numbers are stupid, especially since August, the numbers are stupid. Over 120,000 new educators have signed up for Flipgrid since August across 176 different countries. Over 100 million videos have been shared since August 1st. It's got to be more than the service being free, right? Obviously.
I think so. I think it's a mixture of, and we're incredibly grateful that Microsoft has enabled us to make Flipgrid free because our mission has always been to empower every learner to share their voice, respect the diverse voices of others. And when we weren't free, it was difficult to have that mission because while that was our mission, you know, the paid aspect led some barriers there. So Microsoft really enabling us to fully embrace our mission has been incredible. But what it comes down to is, and Anne says this all the time, an authentic use for an authentic audience. And using a tool, you know, Flipgrid, we talk about all the time, is just a bunch of lines of code. And really the magic of Flipgrid is scholars sharing with their communities and finding, like, it's not even just sharing your voice, it's finding your voice, and it's that re-recording process and figuring out how you want to position what you're sharing, whether that's a book talk or a math lesson or a science experiment or a hypothesis, you know, whatever it may be. It's the experience of figuring out what that is and how you want to present that information with your peers.
Which to me makes me think of pathways. It's a learning pathway. So as you figure out how to utilize a tool or utilize a platform, whether it's as simple as using the camera and recording a selfie style video, utilizing the new features like the digital inking or the whiteboard blackboard mode to create something that was, you know, previously inconceivable, it's transforming teaching and learning experiences and providing new pathways and avenues for people to share their learning. And that builds confidence in yourself, which is a way that young scholars everywhere can develop, well, not only develop, but explore and develop what their unique voice is. And Adam mentioned it, but I absolutely feel so passionate about this, that it is helping people share their authentic voice for an authentic community. And that means different things with technology. A learning community does not have to exist within four walls of a classroom. It does not have to exist on one campus as part of a larger school district. Global communities and global classrooms exist because of the power of technology that really you can use, and you can use as much or as little as you want. And that's the beautiful thing. It can be as simple or as complex as you want. And I love that Flipgrid provides the freedom for people to have all those learning pathways.
And to that same point as well, that voice is not just spoken word, right? I think because of, you know, the dictionary definition of voice, right, we come to kind of think of this thing as it's spoken word. But as Anne mentioned, especially with the new features and especially with the ways that Flipgrid educators and students have always used Flipgrid, we know that student voice is not just spoken word. It's expression through, you know, dancing, through drawings, through all these creative means of sharing, you know, what you're thinking and what you believe and what your questions are.
So I'd like to follow up on the Microsoft question. Microsoft obviously gave you guys the power to make Flipgrid free, which is huge. What other types of advantages does that partnership offer?
So one of the first things that comes to my mind is the Microsoft learning tools, like, for example, the immersive reader which was brought into the Flipgrid platform, which not only provides visual supports, but audio supports as well, whether it's like a high contrast, low contrast. There's line focusing. You can toggle on syllabication. You can, have a parts of speech lesson while you're utilizing the immersive reader. There's a picture dictionary embedded into it, as well as a translation tool. So something like that is a very simple thing to say was another natural benefit of that partnership, because it's empowering people. And that's what Microsoft believes in, empowering people. So a tool like that is a beautiful thing to celebrate as part of our environment. And I love sharing it because as a former first grade teacher with pre-readers and emerging readers, that was such a powerful tool. And our co-founder, Dr. Charlie Miller, when he said, if folks are not understanding the Flipgrid topic or what's being asked of them, whether it's a language barrier or a reading, barrier, this is one tool that can empower them to participate. It's non-stigmatizing, it's welcoming, it's very user-friendly. So I love that tool, and we're lucky to have it because it's part of Microsoft.
It's amazing. And I'm sure that Microsoft, one of the huge advantages has got to be the ramping up of development tools and abilities, and like Shorts, for example. Flipgrid Shorts is like my new favorite thing, because I feel like in the past, like if you wanted to make a video, it had to be part of a board, and it had to there were some requirements that I wasn't really wanting to do, especially in my role now, where I'm not in the classroom, but I do want to make an awesome, fun, cute, kind of cool little video. Flipgrid Shorts does that for me in a way that I probably couldn't do before.
Hey, Mike, I was just thinking about this, Mike, that the reason why you love it so much is because it's explained everything on steroids. If you guys haven't heard the podcast before, Mike's favorite tool of all time was Explain Everything, but now it's been surpassed by by Flipgrid. It's clearly Shorts.
Flipgrid now.
Yes,
is my jam. I've used it just in the last week or two. I've used it about 5 or 6 times to make just little videos, because that's what I needed, and it was the perfect tool for that. You've got to be seeing really cool opportunities for development as a result of being part of Microsoft, but also the uptake on this stuff is really neat as well.
So what are the things when you say Flipgrid Shorts, you think of the robust camera, and our team built it completely brand new from the ground up this summer, that whole camera experience. But the power of storytelling with Shorts it's like endless possibilities. And one of the coolest things we've seen educators do off the bat, Kathy Krasnowski is an awesome MIE expert from New Jersey, and she came up with this Flipmoji scene challenge where you create this entire reality based on the tools within Shorts and the Flipgrid camera, utilizing those emojis or importing your own stickers, using the camera tool. And she's creating these wonderful scenes, whether it's like a magical scene. We saw an educator from Malaysia create this mad scientist scenario. It sounds, I don't want to say that I'm just repeating myself, but endless possibilities for the way that you could use Shorts to showcase. But beyond showcasing, it's coming back to giving people the opportunity to create, right? Mm-hmm. And that opportunity shifts the meaningful, aspect of a lesson. It shifts the engagement level of a lesson, what really truly is impacting the learning, right? So it's making these meaningful, rich learning experiences when people are creating. I would think they're more engaged and more likely to retain the information. So it's just, to repeat myself one more time, it's a pathway, right? It's a pathway.
And it's cool to hear you speak on it, because there is more to come.
Ooh, ...
That was, they were about to drop something here, but they just gave us a ... That's awesome.
I cannot continue at this
point. So, what's the coolest thing you've seen kids do in Flipgrid?
That's so hard to answer.
There's
so many cool.
I know
There's
there's so
gotta
many.
be something that comes to your mind. Though.
Okay, so I just did a training in California for San Gabriel Valley Q, and I shared an example, and I said this likely is one of my favorite videos of all time. And it was a student who used a piece of paper and a pencil to sketch some little characters, some speech bubbles, but what it turned into was stop motion animation simply using the pause button, and then became this entire animated video of multiplying fractions. So it was super cool because she simply manipulated the paper, used the pause button, and then had this whole like animated feature, and it blew my mind. Another incredible example we love to share is 3 high school students, Tennessee, right? I believe they were in Tennessee. And they were standing in the hallway with their whiteboards, and they had drawn about circuitry, and they were rapping about circuits. And it literally was whiteboard, expo marker, and their
This was like 2 years ago before whiteboard, blackboard mode.
Yeah.
And the prompt was not create a song. It was just students being incredible. That the educator said, we're going to use Flipgrid. Demonstrate to me that you understand the concept we went over, circuitry. And it's this epic song that sometimes we'll be walking around the office and we'll just sing a little line from it to one another. Like, don't forget about the light, little dude. It's this amazing song.
I guess it's kind of funny. I chose like 2 completely like analog examples when there's all these possibilities. I do love Flipmoji, the Flipmoji scene challenge. I think there's all kinds of possibilities with that. I also love the inking. Right? Like I come back to primary examples. I 100% believe K2 can too. And so even our youngest scholars can share their learning, whether it's talking about, addend plus addend equals sum and drawing with the inking tool, whether it's creating a Flipmoji scene, whether it's importing their own video. One of the things I think is so cool is you're seeing a lot of students import custom stickers, which is literally a photo file from their camera roll. So that completely redefines how they do like a book talk. I mean, there's so many examples that blow our mind every single day. One thing that really inspires me is when we see students using American Sign Language or signing on Flipgrid, and just incredible examples of, and Adam mentioned this, that voice is different for everybody and what you share is different, whether it's spoken or non-spoken. But like I have tears in my eyes sometimes when I go through Twitter just because of like incredible examples coming from around the world.
It's amazing.
Amazing.
We've spent some time talking to Claudio Zavala about Sing a Song.
Yeah.
And so that's like an incredibly cool way to use Flipgrid. And I'm wondering if there are other ideas, other folks out there. You've cited maybe a couple already, but folks using Flipgrid for things other than, a teacher with kids in their classroom. What are some other people that you can think of that are doing things like Claudio and that kind of thing in Flipgrid?
Totally. The first one that comes to my mind is we've seen like book talks at the PLC level, right? So I know Trevor McKenzie did like one of his Inquiry Mindset book talks over this summer. I think either last summer or the summer prior, maybe both. But not even necessarily so that was obviously, at a global scale, but even at the local level, having schools collaborate across the district in this asynchronous format, right? So they don't all need to be at a certain location at a certain time to have a meeting. They can collaborate with one another just as Flipgrid allows whenever it's convenient for them.
So a really cool example I know at the university level, one of my friends at the University of Central Arkansas was using Flipgrid to get like educator practitioners in the classroom to provide feedback for folks who are in her pre-service teacher program. So to match up somebody who's in school to become an educator and hear feedback from a practicing educator was a very powerful thing for them. Things like that inspire me. Another global example that really has kind of blown my mind is with our global classroom. Joyce Bronwyn, Melinda Hurt, and Michael Drezick. It's 3 educators who have just empowered a lot of conversations related to the Sustainable Development Goals and giving kids a global platform to have meaningful conversations about what's going on in their world. And that has blown my mind.
And then, so one more, I was looking up the name to make sure I pronounced the last name correctly. Carolee Nakasuka told us when we visited her school that she even uses Flipgrid with her family. So like thinking family reunions, right? So family all around the world. Or even all around, like when I grew up, my dad's parents were one city over, my mom's parents were a couple states over. And the idea of if we could have connected on Flipgrid back when I was growing up, she's doing it with her family. She's amazing. She does so many cool things. But just another example that came to mind of how she was telling us her family grid on Flipgrid.
I saw a tweet recently about a gal who is doing like story read alouds, like reading aloud a book to her niece who lives in a different state. So for him to bring up like the idea of connecting families or families sharing experiences. I'm sure we saw a tweet last year about folks who were saying we should use Flipgrid to everybody give an update on their life. That way we can get into our family reunion rather than spending time catching up. They wanted to like enjoy the moment. So it's different for everybody. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about it. Our colleague Jornay is known for saying, if you can think it, you can Flipgrid it. So whether it's, a K-12 scenario, higher education, corporate or enterprise, or even like your family, if you can think it, you can Flipgrid it. And I think that's incredible.
So Anne and Adam, how can people connect with you? I know in social media, you guys are very active. Can you give us your social media connections?
We are. So on social or on Twitter specifically, I am at Adam Shorts. I notoriously enjoy wearing shorts year round, even though we're in Minnesota.
Even in Minnesota, yes.
I love shorts. So my Twitter handle is at Adam Shorts.
And mine is at Ann Kozma 723. I'm connected on all the social as well. You can always find us at Flipgrid as well. But beyond that, I would invite folks to connect with the community, which connects through the hashtag Flipgrid Fever. So if you were to search hashtag Flipgrid Fever, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Twitter, there's a Facebook community. We're pretty easy to find on social, and we love to say that conversations that start today don't have to end today. Whether it starts on a digital platform or in real life, it's the beginning of a celebration and a friendship, because we're passionate about the same thing.
Ann Kozma and Adam Parker Goldberg, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today. You guys are awesome.
Thank you so much. You two are awesome. This has been amazing. And we're so excited to see you soon.
Yes, can't wait. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to OnEducation. My name is Glen Irvin. My co-host is Mike Washburn. OnEducation is part of the Education Podcast Network. You can listen to this show and many others by great educators like Jennifer Gonzalez, Matt Miller, and many more by visiting edupodcastnetwork.com. Want to get in touch with us? Check out our website at oneducationpodcast.com. You can tweet us at oneducationpod. Mike is at Mr. Washburn on Twitter, and I can be found at Irv Spanish. You can find us on Facebook by visiting facebook.com/oneducationpod. We're also on Instagram at oneducationpod. If you're enjoying the show and think others would too, we would be thrilled if you shared it with them. Please leave us a rating or review in Apple Podcasts or the Google Play Store. When you leave a rating, it gives our rankings a boost. This helps others discover the show. We want to thank our presenting sponsor, Classcraft, for supporting us. Check out classcraft.com/oneducation to learn more about them. Thanks as always for listening, stay awesome, and see you soon.